The boy was walking home. Suddenly a black van appeared in front of him. Because 4 boys had already gone missing in the town, so John was very scared. At that moment a man got out of the van. He deliberately spilled the contents of his bag all over the ground, successfully attracting John's attention. The man lied that he was a magician, and asked John if he wanted to see a magic trick. But when he took out his props, he used a black balloon to block John's view. When John opened his eyes again, he found himself in a secret room, and a man wearing a clown mask was staring straight at him. John immediately realized he had been kidnapped, and the man in front of him was likely the clown who had taken the other 5 boys. John begged him to let him go, but the clown ignored him completely. After the clown left, John quickly walked toward the iron door. He tried to pull it open, but soon John gave up, so he began searching for a way out. But the room had only a bed and a toilet, and a telephone with its wire cut. John felt deeply hopeless. Then he noticed a ventilation window on the wall. John jumped up again and again, but the window was far too high. He couldn't reach it at all. John wanted to use the mattress to reach it, but found the bed had been nailed to the floor. He sat helplessly on the bed. The 5 boys before him were all stronger than he was, but even they couldn't escape. So how could he possibly have a chance? Just as John was sinking into despair, the phone behind him suddenly rang. How could a disconnected phone be ringing? John felt a chill of fear. When he walked over and picked up the phone, there was no sound from the other end. John wondered if he was hallucinating, but later that night he was woken again by the ringing. Half asleep, he muttered, "Stop it already."
Stop what?
John was startled by the clown. It turned out the clown had been crouching in the corner watching him. John was terrified. He lied, saying he was hungry, and asked for food. The clown thought for a moment and agreed. After the clown left, the phone rang again. Even though he knew it couldn't really be working, John still picked it up. This time a deep voice came from the other end. John hung up in fear. He had no idea who had called, but the ringing wouldn't stop. John froze for a few seconds. Then he walked toward the phone with determination. Maybe the person on the other end could save him. When John picked up the phone again, he immediately heard a boy's voice. The boy told him not to hang up. John asked who he was, but the boy seemed to have forgotten his own name. But he remembered John, because John was really good at baseball. Hearing that, John suddenly remembered. The boy on the other end was Jack, the first to go missing. After John reminded him, the boy finally remembered his name. Then he told John a secret. Only John could hear the voice through this phone. John asked Jack why he was calling. Jack said there was a muddy spot in the hall, covered by a square floor tile. There he could dig a tunnel to escape, but Jack was caught before finishing it. When John asked, "Do I have enough time?" Jack hung up without answering. Following Jack's instructions, John found the exact tile. He obediently began digging the tunnel. To avoid being caught, he flushed the excess dirt down the toilet, until he was completely exhausted. Then John covered the hole with a rug, and went back to bed. But soon he realized how hard this plan would be. The next morning the clown brought him breakfast, then turned and left. After the clown left, John suddenly realized something. He rushed to check, and sure enough the iron door wasn't locked. John was thrilled, but right then the phone rang again. John hesitated. When he answered, the voice urgently warned him not to go upstairs, because it was the clown's trap. Once John stepped onto the stairs, the clown would whip him unconscious with a belt. As John asked who was speaking, the boy suddenly appeared beside him. But strangely, John couldn't see what he looked like. He could only communicate through the phone. The boy Billy told John, "Whenever you try to escape, the clown punishes you. It hurts more than you can imagine." He and the others had all been through it. Then he hung up the phone. But after the boy left, John still opened the door, and slowly began climbing the stairs, until he stopped just 2 steps from the top. John didn't know the clown was waiting above with the belt. Fortunately, John chose to trust Billy. He went back downstairs and ate his breakfast. He was determined to survive. As John was resting after eating, Billy called again. He told John not to say his name, because he no longer remembered it. Then the bottle on the floor started spinning. Billy told John he had hidden an escape cable in the carpet seam, but clearly Billy hadn't made it out either. As John asked what to do next, the bottle suddenly pointed toward the window. John immediately understood. Following Billy's direction, John found the cable in the carpet seam. He kept tossing it toward the window, but every attempt failed. Frustrated, John went back to the bathroom. He brought out a rolled-up rug. Using its hollow center, he finally managed to get the cable through the window. But just as he stepped onto it to climb out, the iron bars suddenly collapsed down. John fell to the floor. His dream of escape was shattered once more. John lowered his head in sorrow. Every attempt to escape had failed. What should he do now?